Welcome back to Morning Code and Coffee. Today we're going to be talking about while loops. If you watched the last video I did, it was about for loops, which unlike while loops have more of a definite end, right? While loops can be used like for loops. For example, what we have here is let condition equal true. This is probably not the best name for the variable, but I mean, that's literally what it's asking for, is a condition to be true in order to continue running. And we initialize rand, which we'll use later, and loops is just counting, so we know how many times this while loop ran. So what we have here, if we were to switch this to say, like while loops less than or equal to 20, you can see that we're going to increment it with the plus plus. It's going to run 20 times. And basically renders this little chunk useless, but we're not going to do that. That would make it more like a for loop, and that's not the point of a while loop. So here we initialize condition be true. So while it is true, because it will remain true, you can see here is the only point where we can make it false. While it is true, we're going to keep running this code. Now, rand, we assign math.floor, math.random times 100 to rand. And you kind of have to read this line of code backwards, because what you're doing is asking for a random number between 0 and 1, but not including 1. Then you're going to multiply it by 100, which, as you can imagine, is not the cleanest looking number. So then we apply the floor. Math.floor will just chop off that decimal and leave you with whatever whole number or whatever was before the decimal. Right. Then we're going to console log that so we can see all the random numbers. And then we're going to increase loops by 1, again, so we know how many times it runs through. And we're going to console log that at the end. Now, it is a random number, so it's not going to just increment up to 50 like this if statement is asking for, but I mean, you'll see it's going to run and say, it's going to run once. You can't plan that. But essentially, this ran once. The first number out of that random, right, out of this line of code was 50. It console logged the fact that it was 50. It increased loops by 1. So we know it ran once. And then it asked, hey, is or if random triple equals 50, condition equals false. So when it tried to go back, condition was now equal to false. It broke out, console log the number of loops, which was 1. Okay, well, that was weird. Let's try that again. Okay, this is more like it. We have 31 loops this time. And you can see all the other numbers that were in here, right? I chose to multiply the random number by 100 because it wouldn't run for too long. Right? Obviously, the larger the sample size, the longer it could potentially take to equal what you were looking for in this scenario. Let me run it again. The longest one I've seen so far was 155 in my little practice runs, and they seem to be a little, shorter loop cycles. But let's give it a shot. We're going to increase the sample size by 10 and see what happens. Scrolling. Wish I had one of those weighted mouse wheels. Oh dear. Okay, 603 loops. Obviously, things like this, this is just for example, but you can see like with this setup, it will potentially take much longer. I still think it's funny that the first time through is just a single loop. Not likely, but obviously possible. But yeah, I hope this was a little helpful. If you learned something, great. If not, and you have questions as to why any of this works, feel free to ask in the comment section below. Otherwise, stick around and check out other videos I make. Thanks for watching.